그 첫 번째 준결승 이후에 뭐 이쪽으로 자카르타에서 이동도 하셨고 뭐 경기도 하시고 이동도 하시고 그랬는데 어떻게 회복을 하셨는지 질문합니다.
뭐 회복할 수 있는 부분은 뭐 오피셜 트레이닝 한 번밖에 없기 때문에 그냥 잘 휴식하고 잘 준비했다 보시면 됩니다.
We had a good recovery session. I think we only did one official training before leading up to the match tonight. So the recovery, I think, has been alright.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Together, we
And Tan Chung is coming back into the side, into that back line for Vietnam. He's a player I quite like, and because he's naturally left-footed, he's going to give them a bit more balance in possession when they do try to play it out from that side of the pitch. There's a man who's going to need to have a big game, Quang Hai. He's not been at his best in the competition so far.
No, absolutely not. and he's so pivotal to Vietnam's needs. As we continue testing, or can we end proceedings? Can't see him. Okay. We are at the My Dinh Stadium in Hanoi as Vietnam take on Indonesia in the AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup 2022. It's the second leg semi-final after the first leg ended goalless in Jakarta. Plenty of noise here. We've been told it's a sellout crowd in this stadium. And after the noise of the Gelora Bung Karno, it's time for Vietnam to put on a show, and perhaps also on the field, because they didn't particularly show up in that first leg, had to ride their luck a fair bit as Indonesia came pouring forward at every opportunity, made things tough for Vietnam, and perhaps for the first time in this competition looked a little bit vulnerable. They'll want to right those wrongs. There's Duan Van Hao, a lot of attention on the wing back. And there might be a reaction from the crowd as well, the Indonesians that have made it here. But Vietnam are looking to win their third title, having already won it in 2008 and 2018. For Indonesia, well, they have unfortunately garnered a reputation as the perennial bridesmaids of this competition. 6 times they've been runners-up. This is the 10th time that they have been into the semi-finals. Can they go that extra step? First, of course, they've got to negotiate this second leg. Can they do it, Rish Roshan Rai?
Yeah, they can. They have the quality in this side to certainly do that. And the thing that has been lacking for Indonesia is that finishing touch for them. They do create chances, and whenever a side can create chances, can create opportunities, that's when you're not too concerned. But it's that finishing touch that's been lacking for Indonesia, and something they will have had to sort of work on. They only had, I think, 1 training session to really work on a couple of things, and had a bit of a walkout on this ground as well, just to get a feel for the conditions here. But it looks like really good conditions, weather-wise at least.
Yeah, that cold snap,
game of football.
That cold snap that northern Vietnam was experiencing just last week at the start, right at the start of January and the end of December, that has gone, thankfully, as far as perhaps Indonesia are concerned. It was almost 10 degrees not too long ago, but it's nice at 21, humidity's quite low, perfect, right?
Yeah, perfect conditions for a game of football. And I think, you know, we touched on Indonesia and the chance creation, the ability to get into good positions. Just that finishing touch has been missing. They are coming up against a Vietnam side who, incredibly, 5 games into the competition, haven't conceded a goal. That is outstanding.
It is absolutely outstanding, and not for lack of trying as well from these teams. Indonesia will tell you, they certainly had their chances to do so. We'll have the lineups for you right after the national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem. The national anthem of Indonesia. Đề nghị toàn thể quý vị đứng dậy, chuẩn bị làm lễ chào cờ.
Quốc ca Indonesia.
Quốc ca Indonesia.
And now, the national anthem of Vietnam. Quốc ca Việt Nam.
Well, that's the sound of 40-odd thousand fans getting right behind you. And that's the least that these players expect. They want to create the kind of atmosphere that they experienced at the Gelora Bung Karno. As we look at the lineups here, 3 changes for Vietnam from their first leg. Win Tan Chung comes into the defence along with Ho Tan Tai, the wing-back. Pham Tuan Hai, the forward, replaces Pan Van Duk. Vu Van Tan is replaced by Ho Tan Tai, and Do Dui Man, who came in for a bit of criticism, is replaced by Win Tan Chung. And perhaps no surprise for you, Roshan, on that right-hand side of the defence, that's been most attention paid to.
Yeah, I mean, I think they looked a little bit shaky defensively, especially in that first half, in the first leg against Indonesia. What's interesting for me will be how Vietnam look this set up here, whether it's a 3-4-3 that we're used to seeing them play, or whether it's going to be a 3-5-2 with a bit more presence in midfield and the 2 players up front in Tien Lin and Tuan Hai.
For Indonesia, just the one change then, with Sadil Ramdhani coming in for Rahmat Irianto. And I'm not sure whether you quite feel that, will it be this way for you? Look this way, this lineup?
I feel like it might be more of a back 3 going into a back 5 rather than Jordi Amat playing in central midfield. And then Sadil comes in and perhaps goes on the right-hand side, just ahead of Asnawi. Dendi, we know he's got good movement and good pace up front. He's very mobile in those attacking positions. He's a good outlet for them. And what we saw from them in an attacking sense in the first leg was that sort of variation in the movement where Dendi would drop off, draw Vietnam's defenders towards him, and then you get runners in the form of, on this occasion, what will be Sadil from off the right-hand side from a deeper position, getting in behind, and then Jakob Sayuri from the other side of the pitch. So there was really good movement, there was very good invention in attack by Indonesia, and I suspect we'll see a sort of a similar thing in this match here. You know, Vietnam will probably look to have a little bit more possession, a bit more of the ball, and Indonesia will look to frustrate on the defensive side of things before trying to use the space in behind Vietnam's defense.
Park Hang-seo has been fiery, shall we say, in the lead-up to this game. He was not very impressed with this man, Shin Tae-yong, his countryman, who he said, well, he needs to prove what he said. He says Indonesia are at the same level as Vietnam, and Park Hang-seo kind of took offense at that. He didn't really like that. He said, basically, in a very nice way, you're not at our level yet. Go ahead and win it, and then say what you want to say. But right now, you haven't won anything yet.
Yeah, listen, I think he's quite right to go on that, go on the offensive a little bit. It's interesting, you know, to listen into these coaches, you know, have a bit of a go at each other.
Love it, don't you?
At times. I love it, absolutely love it. I mean, it's a lot better than the usual boring, dull stuff you get, you know, in pre-match press conferences and in interviews where, you know, coaches say things like the ball is round, ridiculous stuff like that. They're going to try our best. We're ready for this game. It was nice. It was nice to have that little bit of a rivalry.
And apparently there were no handshakes as well after the game. That's the accusation that was leveled by Shin Tae-yong at Park Hang-seo. So it just spices things up a little bit. Here's Sadil Ramdhani, as you predicted, on the right-hand side.
On the right, and it does look like a back 3 that will drop into a 5. Jordi Amat alongside Fakhruddin and Rizky Ridho.
But it did serve Indonesia so well, didn't it? Having that back 5 anyway.
Yeah. And another thing that they've sort of swapped around here is Jakob Sayuri is actually playing in central midfield alongside Klock rather than Marcelino. So Marcelino stays on the left, Sadil on the right, as I said, and Jakob Sayuri again showing his, versatility. We've seen him play at right back, at left back, right wing back, left wing back.
Well, that was him right there, trying to influence play. Just wonder whether that gives him the opportunity to show off his electric pace. Quang Hai just trying to get the ball up to Tien Lin.
Well, they'll need to just be strong in those central areas. Jakob playing in that role. He's quick. He's a player who likes to get forward into those attacking areas. But now he's having to do a job in central midfield alongside Klock, and expect him to do quite a bit of defending in central areas, in those central positions. So it's going to be fascinating to see how he gets on in this match.
Fair to say he was probably the best attacking outlet for Indonesia in the last leg.
That's right. He was very lively with his movement in behind. And the timing of his runs as well. It started out on the right for Indonesia in that game, in the first leg.
Yeah.
But he would often drift into central areas and just bend his runs as well into onto the left-hand side of the penalty area. Created some really good opportunities, Indonesia, in that match, especially in the first half. I think in the second half, Vietnam perhaps realized there was a real threat, real danger that Indonesia were posing, and sort of set back more and tried to protect the spaces in behind them.
So now here come Vietnam. There's Pham, who's been preferred to Van Duk. Jakob Sayuri. Referee having a little chat with him. Is there a position? I mean, the only place we haven't seen him play is in defence here, right? Jakob Sayuri's played just about everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
he's played as a wing back.
He's played as wing back. He's played as full back.
That just wouldn't hold up. It does now. Vietnam get the early lead, and it's with Tien Lin. They just hesitated there, Indonesia. It's the early lead. The early goal that Vietnam would have wanted.
Well, we didn't see much of Tien Lin in that first leg, but this is what he's capable of. He's a real attacking threat. He's a good finisher when he gets the chances, when he gets the service. Well, it looks like plan A is kind of out the window. Although they came into this game needing just one goal, and it stays the same with the away goals. If they score that away goal within the 90 minutes, Indonesia, they still go through if it stays 1-1 at the end of the 90.
Yep, that is very, very true. I wonder what this does to the mindset as well, to all the plans, the carefully laid plans they would have had.
Look, it's that variation with the simple ball over the top. Good run by Tien Lin. Just in between Jordi Amat and Rizky Ridho. Good position that he's taken up. Two central defenders then looking at each other, kind of saying, well, you should have picked him up. Not wanting to take responsibility. It's Hong Zong that just plays it over the top. Good focus from Tien Lin. He's got his eyes on the ball all the way through. And as it falls into him, you can see quite clearly he's onside in between the two central defenders. And a good finish. No chance for Nadeo at all. I was just going to say that Vietnam really look up for this, and Indonesia are going to have to ride out that spell of pressure for the first 15 minutes or so. Well, Vietnam have found a way through now.
Well, this is the big difference between these two sides. Indonesia were having opportunities akin to that and not putting them away.
Yeah.
Vietnam have put away their first one. Delight for this crowd. Park Hang-seo said he wanted to put on a show for them. He knows his time with this team is limited now.
Well, this really changes that game state in a sense, because Indonesia would have come into this and, as I say, would have wanted to be the side who just sitting back a little bit more and try and keep that clean sheet. Instead, now they're going to be the team that has to get forward, has to take a few more risks as this game goes on. And it's kind of perfect for Vietnam. What will happen now is they'll get a little bit more space and time on the ball in possession as well.
Top scorer list at the moment, Tien Lin now is on 4. He's one behind Thirasin Dangda from Thailand.
They were really frustrated in an attacking sense in the first leg against Indonesia, struggling to create good opportunities, clear-cut opportunities, Vietnam. This really helps when you're playing against a deep-lying defense. Get that early goal.
Well, that has really got the crowd going, isn't it? We've got a switch on here, Indonesia. Here's Ho Tan Tai. Flag has gone up.
Yeah, happening right in front of the assistant referee, Tuan Hai. It does look like a 5-3-2 for Vietnam, without the ball anyway. Tien Lin up front with Tuan Hai, and then the midfield three of Win Quang Hai, Do Hong Dung, and Win Hong Duk.
Yeah, Hong Duk was certainly a very deep-line player for Vietnam, and they were really under the cosh in that first half. There's the goal scorer, Win Tien Lin. We've had two fairly big wins here. Myanmar and Malaysia 3-0 victories. And well, could be well on the way to another big win with that early goal. Let's see what happens. Here's Klock, does well. Asnawi, the Indonesian captain, doesn't get past Quang Hai, who needs to really put in a sterling performance. He just hasn't shone quite yet in this tournament.
I remember him picking up a bit of an injury at the start of this competition, and combine that with the fact that perhaps he hasn't seen enough minutes in France.
Yeah.
But yeah, he hasn't quite been at his best. Snawi, by the way, number 14 in your picture there for Indonesia on the right side, playing as their right wing back, was just absolutely brilliant in the first leg. And shut down Duan Van Hao, who's normally such a threat on the left for Vietnam.
Duan Van Hao was garnering attention for other reasons. Something that Shin Tae-yong was certainly very keen to point out, that perhaps he shouldn't have even been on the field and been sent off. Flag does go up for Tien Lin. Now, I know it's early days, but do you think there's some concerted effort here, trying to get the ball up to Tien Lin?
Yeah, they're looking to play it quicker into him. It's just a bit of a shame he's missed times his run on this occasion. Might hold off on it. But you just have a look at the pace of the passing as well. And again, yes, it's early days, but Vietnam with a bit more space, look to be passing it a bit more intensity.
No foul from Duan Van Hao this time. Yeah, the referee, Omar Mubarak from Oman, was certainly painted to be someone the Indonesians were unhappy with. Some of his decision making. Tuan Hai is down.
I just touched on the 5-3-2 or the 3-5-2 in possession, and what that means is when you look at it, just in terms of the shapes that both sides have, is Vietnam have that extra player in central midfield. Indonesia going with the 4 in midfield, Klock and Jakob Sayuri, the 2 in the middle. That's up against the 3 of Quang Hai, Hong Dung, and Hoang Duc. So already Vietnam kind of have an extra player in those central areas, in those central positions, and that might give them a little bit more control in the game.
That's Hoang Duc who gives it away uncharacteristically. He's got the ball back again, and I think there was a foul on Sadil Ramdani's. Oh, sorry, Jakob Sayuri, excuse me. You do see it. Do you see at some point where there could be the interchange of Jakob going a bit wider?
Yeah, that's a possibility for Indonesia. Also, what you'll see here, just have a look off the ball, have a look at Marcelino's positioning. He's moving in a little bit more centrally, so they're trying to sort of get that extra body into those central areas as well themselves, Indonesia, by moving Marcelino into more of these central spaces. Even Sadil at times is being allowed to just drift inside.
That was a decent ball, wasn't it? To Quang Hai, who's been fouled.
Yeah, this Jakob Sayuri's central midfield experiment not quite working out at the moment. It's taking him a bit of time to get adjusted.
You quite liked him being in front of Asnawi, didn't you?
That's right. I think it's a very good combination down the right-hand side for Indonesia with Sayuri in front of Asnawi.
It did cause so many problems in that last game. Let's see how long before they change that. And the header goes over. Don Van Hou getting involved in that one.
Yeah, it's good delivery from a deeper area. That's got to be a special header though. I guess Indonesia, what they'll be concerned with is the fact that defensively, in those situations, they looked a little bit loose.
Well, they get a corner here, an opportunity perhaps. The likes of Fakhruddin and Amat to get forward. Some of the big guns on this corner. There's a very talented bench for you as well for Vietnam. They all look very relaxed at the moment. Why not? The team 1-0 up. Rizky Riddo's also in there. Jordi Amat. It's well gathered by Dan Van Lang, who quickly distributes down to that left-hand side for Vietnam. Well, he's a couple of fouls now on Tuan Hai. Shin Tae-yong is trying to wave away any risk of a yellow card. Probably saying that's not even a foul as well.
Well, they're looking dangerous, the home side. They look really motivated, up for it in front of their own fans. Certainly lifted by that early goal as well.
Yeah, that certainly helps, doesn't it? That's excellent work. Tan Tai gets some kind of cross in as Jakob Sayuri is there. Try to just flick that on, Dendi, to Marcelino. There's Jordi Amat. Now Quang Hai has given that away. There's tension in the air. There's certainly that tension. Indonesia are feeling it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge game, massive occasion. And what Klopp wanted to do was to get on with it quickly. But Hwang Duk was there just to slow it down. Sadil going to try and help Jakob. So one of those two players has got to drift in just to make sure that they aren't outnumbered in the center of the pitch. Whether Sadil or Marcelino.
Here's Fakhruddin. Asnawi. Just feel that Vietnam are a bit better swarming around today and pressing and trying to win that ball back. Van Lam grabs hold of the ball. He had a few words there.
Yeah, he's been very good. Dang Van Lam in goal for Vietnam.
He's pulled off a couple of key saves. Asnawi just didn't get this kind of harassment, did you, from the Vietnam players in that first leg?
Yeah, it was a different kind of sort of game as well, in the sense that, again, I go back to the setup that they had in Indonesia, which was to soak and counter, and they were very effective in the transitions, in the counter-attacks. And what's happened now as well, I talk about game state, and that state of the game has changed because Vietnam have got that early goal, so now Indonesia can't just sit back and wait for things to happen. So they are the side that, you know, have a bit more of the ball. And Vietnam, then it gives Vietnam the opportunity to themselves sit back a little bit, or to go out and press and put the pressure on Indonesia and test them in possession. As we see here, Jakob Sayuri just gives it away under pressure.
Yeah, that experiment at the moment, something that need to get looked at. Not necessarily getting the best out of Jakob Sayuri. That might be telling already. Almost double the number of duels won.
Yeah, I mean, you have a look at the aggression that they're showing, Vietnam. No surprise, those numbers are the way they are.
Here's Van Gaal. Goes with the outside of his foot. Now Huang Duc. Back to Van Gaal. Oh, it's just an ease of passing today. Short little passes. There's real confidence about this side. And when they're in this sort of mood, they are a real pleasure to watch. Vietnam. Van Gaal, not a great pass from him. So a bit short for Do Hun Dung. Quang Hai, though, on the ball. Here's Tien Lin. Looking to shift it quickly again. Out wide and not going to get there. Tan Chung. But it has been impressive, hasn't it, so far?
It's been very good. Just look at the pace that they're moving the ball, Vietnam. It's 1 and 2 touch. That's good movement. Players offering themselves in support quickly. That's playing at a good tempo, really good intensity. Just there, Tan Tai drifted inside, leaving a space for Tan Chung to go forward into. Dung with the overhead pass.
Jakob Sayuri's lost the ball.
Yeah, he's struggling, and he's a good player, but you know it takes a bit of time. It's not a position he's probably used to playing. And even you just saw there with the clock telling him to calm down and try and get his focus. But it's an adjustment for him.
It's not his.
It's
really
not his natural position. It's an adjustment for him.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems almost counterintuitive that he's not being played at his strength, which is out wide, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I thought when I looked at the lineup, I thought that maybe Marcelino would be playing in central midfield alongside Klock, and then you could have Jakob playing on the left, Sadil on the right, Jakob on the left.
You were talking about some inverted.
That's right.
Yeah.
In front of Pratama Arhan, and kind of having those players play as Sadil's a left-footed player on the right, Jakob right-footed player on the left. Sort of that inverted winger or the inverted forward.
Now, this has been one of the effective weapons for Indonesia. It's the Pratama Arhan throw. He's taking it from the left-hand side today, and he's got a massive run up here. As long as he wants. He's just tried the ball, and he's going to go for it. And they have scored directly from this before. They've put Quang Hai there. Amat can't get anything. They're saying handball, but it's gone the other way. Amat is insisting it was the other way. There's a smattering of some Indonesian fans. Yeah, if you're going to have someone, I suppose, in front of that throw-in to try and put him off, probably not pick one of the shortest players on your side.
Yeah,
you'd think, but then again, you need the tall
you
guys
need the taller players
in the box.
Yeah,
right.
in the box, and we've seen sides try to do that where they put a player in front of Arhan's throw-ins. He's still able to launch it into the box anyway. So you need your
sacrificial lamb in a way. Well, there's a few clashes going on there. Klock is really fired up, isn't he?
Yeah, I like this. I'm enjoying this. I love the passion here, the competitiveness that we're seeing.
With Tan Chung. Here's Bui Tian Dung. Should be straightforward for Nadeo. Cross to Rizky. Pratama Arhan. Rory Ahmad to Fakhruddin Arianto. Snowy through the legs of Duan Van Hal. There's just not the same kind of fluidity at the moment, is there?
Yeah. Changes that they've made in terms of Sayuri moving in, and they're struggling at the moment just to sort of link passes through in possession because of the aggression of the home side. When they don't have the ball, they're closing down quickly, they're closing down together.
Yeah, they removed Rahmat Irianto today, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they brought in Sadil Ramdani.
Yeah.
And so that was quite a nice little pivot between your clock and your Irianto in the middle.
Yeah.
That works quite well, didn't it?
And and Rahmat Irianto is a very solid defensive midfield player who knows his role, executes it very well, and when he does have the ball, he's quick to move it on, pass it on to the other players who can go out and do the damage further forward.
He's your archetypal DM, isn't he? Because he kind of flies under the radar but keeps it ticking away.
Yeah, very smart
play.
player as well, you know, with his positioning, knows when to hold his position in the middle of the park. He is on the bench, but perhaps there was some doubt about
He did
his
go
fitness.
off in that last game. There's that bench. Very different sort of atmosphere on that one at the moment. Also plenty of talent there. The young superstars in Witan Sulaiman and Egi Maulana have not had a look in really in the last game until the very end, and wonder when they'll be making an appearance, if they make an appearance today. Here's clock. Jordi Amat. Up towards Asnawi. Just showed a bit too much of the ball. Amat to Sadil Ramdani. Asnawi. Here's Asnawi. Can he get the ball from under his feet? Dendi. They're saying elbow now. Well, Dendi's clutching his face. There's a yellow card. Is that to Buitendung?
Yeah, for Buitendung. I think it was for his reaction and going over to Dendi, perhaps trying to lift him up. And what we did see there was Ngok Hai actually go across Dendi. Indonesia are saying there was an arm thrown into the face of Dendi. Let's have another look at this. Almost get fortunate there with it.
It's not an arm though, is it?
It's not an arm. I think he just leans across. It's kind of his shoulder. It's his shoulder that connects with the face of Dendi, but he can do that. Ngok Hai, he's shielding the ball, and still it's within sort of the range, the distance that he can sort of use the ball and play it. So it's just coming together essentially.
Shin Tae-yong, of course, not happy. Look, what we saw in that last game, Roshan, was a sense of injustice on the field, where Duan Van Hal was allowed to stay on after a two-footer challenge. Indonesia were denied a penalty, a clear penalty. Yaakob Sayuri was fouled, and that was then that's been further fueled, obviously,
of course,
afterwards by Shin Tae-yong and the media. So I wonder, you know, that has an effect on the players, right?
Of course, you know, it sort of carries on, it carries through, and you kind of feel maybe perhaps there's this sense of injustice that can be difficult to overcome.
Right.
You know, and there were decisions that they should have gotten Indonesia in that last game. But what we also have to remember is to sort of, from our perspective, not get caught up in that. And this is a different game, different team of officials, different circumstances, and different incidents that are happening. And on that occasion, there was nothing wrong with Ngok Hai's challenge on Dendi. There was no arm, there was no elbow thrown.
But it's seemingly there's some of the residual impact on these Indonesian players at the moment, the injustice that they felt. They suffered.
For sure, for certain, and not even just the players, onto the coaching staff as well.
We saw some of them using their elbows, and Tien Lin, he goes down. Not really asking, is he? To be fair. Well, quickly gets up because he still is going no sympathy.
And Klopp was quick to go to him as well. Ask him to get up. Was trying his luck there, Tien Lin.
There is certainly tension in the air here at the Meaden Stadium. So now we try to play that quickly, and that had already gone out of play. Van Gaal just whacked it away. Very, very happy to be the bad guy.
Oh, he is public enemy number one in a number of
for a few
places.
countries. Yeah. Which I have to say, from our objective point of view, does make things fascinating. Now towards Dendy, he won't get there. Flag has gone up though. Well, young and old, they are all enjoying themselves. Southeast Asia's biggest competition. Great to see the crowds back, it really is. I haven't seen that since 2018, because the last edition, of course, was played in Singapore, just one country hosting it all. We were still in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, it's just brilliant, isn't it? I love this competition, and the fact that now you have this home and away format as well.
Really adds to it, doesn't it? I've seen people online saying, can we have every game over 2 legs? Here's Quang Hai. Oh, lovely work from him, Quang Hai. The cross, though, not quite matching the skills. Is that a clash of heads? No, play will continue. It is a foul, though, the referee says. Dendy coming together with Tan Chung.
Well, that was something very different from what we've seen from the players on both these sides so far. We actually had a bit of a handshake there between Dendy and Tan Chung, and a nice little hug.
Nice to see. I just have a feeling that it's not going to be something we see too much of. So, Duan Van Hao is standing over the ball. Quang Hai is walking away. He's happy to not take part in this one. Also got Do Hun Zung, also an interested party. Oh, that was plenty of power, wasn't it, from Duan Van Hao?
Wow, from our angle, I thought that was headed into the top corner. What an effort from range. Gets plenty of power behind this Van Hao. Interesting technique as well on the hit.
Well, the power was certainly there, just off on the accuracy. Here's Sadil Ramdani. He's really getting harried on the ball by Tuan Hai.
Yeah, he's been quality in possession though, Sadil Ramdani. He's taken good care of it, unlike some of his other teammates. Marcelino just losing out. But number 7 for Indonesia has been very smart with how he's used the ball. And a bit of invention. He's a very creative player, Sadil Ramdani, as well.
Would it be the logical way to just maybe swap Sadil and Jakub Sayuri?
Put Sadil in a central midfield role alongside Klopp.
I mean, just as a change, and maybe play to a bit more of their strengths.
I think the concern there would be the defensive work rate.
Because we know he can work well, and it's a shot there. Straight at the goalkeeper from Pham Tuan Hai.
And plus you also lose that his presence higher up the pitch.
Sadil Ramdani.
For Sadil Ramdani, if you play him in that central midfield role.
Trying to slip that one through to Tuan Hai. It's been quite the handful.
Yeah, he's had a good game so far, Tuan Hai. It's looked lively up front for Vietnam.
Van Lam takes no chances. Van Hao is quite happy to blast it away. throw in. Well, half an hour's gone here at the meet-in. The one goal so far, an early one from Win Tian Lin. Here's Tan Chung. Ho Tan Tai. Preferred today to Wu Van Tan, that right-hand side, right wing back. Is that a foul there by Sadil? Yes, it is. Just pointing things out there, Kwei Nokai. How many, ref? How many?
That's putting pressure on the referee. Sadil's, he stood up and then he went back down after seeing that there was a bit of a conference going on between Vietnam's players and the referee. Yeah, it is definitely a foul. Good positioning of Ho Tan Tai. Just knew the challenge was coming in, got his body in the way, allowed the ball to run across him. They're getting more involvement from the likes of Huang Duc. Getting more joy in possession. He was really crowded out in the first leg.
He was having to drop deeper and deeper,
yeah,
wasn't he?
And he wasn't effective at all. Even Quang Hai is finding a bit more space to operate in.
This is going to take a while. Crowd growing in anticipation here. It's away by Yori Amat, or rather clock, I should say. Now Yori Amat. Snowy gives that right away to Duan Van Houwen. Today, it's a foul there, bad foul perhaps. Look at the reaction of the players. Remember, it was Duan Van Houwen who elicited a very similar reaction in the last game. He was the one who rushed up, right?
Yeah, well, so he was the one who rushed off his bench.
Yori Amat playing UN Secretary General here.
Listen, now he was late.
Yeah.
It was a challenge. That was late. It was a foul. It was all a bit dramatic.
Well, this is, again, the two coaches have played their part in all of this as well. Prior to this, they were going on a lot about behavior of their players. Duan Van Houwen, by the way, the Vietnamese media were talking about how cool he was about all the criticism. That's late, there's no doubt about that, right?
Yeah,
and that's a card.
He's late, and it should be a card. This catches him while his feet are up in the air, so he goes stumbling over Asnawi. I mean, it looks a lot worse than it actually is.
I can see the coaching staff saying, keep your cool.
The problem that Asnawi had there, foul side, is that when he had possession of the ball, there were no options for him to play it into. You saw players running away from him.
He gave it away, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was very quickly closed down by two Vietnam players. If you saw there, two red shirts around him, because he didn't have an outlet to play it into.
Today, it's role reversal, isn't it? Because he was getting the better of Duan Van Houwen.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been completely the other way today. And he gets a yellow card now, the Indonesia captain. Actually, today the captaincy's with Fakhruddin, isn't it? He's complaining though. He's not going to get that reversed.
Yeah, and it's just better
just
walk away and leave it.
accept it, right?
For now, yeah. Well, both sets of coaches are telling the players to calm down. I mean, maybe he should calm down as well, because his reaction kind of got everyone else a little bit overexcited. And I'm not sure the Japanese referee sees too much of this back home.
Yeah, that's a very valid point.
Usually all very respectful.
It is, you're right. Very few red cards in the J-League, that's for sure. Dendi gets it away only as far as Bui Tian-dung. Well, he's been leading the attacks, interestingly enough. There's 3 central defenders in there.
It was all defenders on that
Yeah.
list. Interesting one.
Perhaps that's repelling attacks. Yeah, just going back to Duan Van Hao, because the Vietnamese press reported that he was playing it cool, wasn't fussed about all the criticism he's been under. As we said, he's been reveling, I think, a little bit in this role that's been cast. Now,
That's
Asnawi has gone down. Now, is there an element of payback here? Yellow card, and Duan Van Hao looks absolutely mystified. Now,
Yeah,
they
so-
are saying it should be a red.
so what he's been doing. Some of it has caught up to him, Van Hao. I didn't think
I thought
that
he was
I
innocent
thought
here.
that was shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
But what's happened here is that reputation has proceeded, and referees do their research on players
Yeah.
before matches. They will know who the players are to keep an eye out on.
So while he may have been innocent this time, as you say, it is his previous behaviour that may have done him a disservice.
But just have a look at this. It's just shoulder to shoulder.
That is not even close, is it? Not even close. No contact with the face whatsoever. But Asnawi has been effective here. He sold the referee one.
Hey.
Boarded line, hook, line, and sinker.
I'll just put it this way. He's gotten away with far worse, Van Hao.
He has certainly earned the ire of a couple of other teams. But Asnawi effective in what he had to do. Marcelino Ferdinand is right hand side for the moment. Indonesia. Well, it'll be interesting to see now what the referee does in terms of added time. You might feel maybe it's a wise thing just to get everyone out. Cool off. As clock puts that across to the other side. Dendi. Doug Van Lum will gather. Indonesia haven't really done much in terms of attack so far.
Oh, something there off the ball as well. It looked like it was Tan Chong. Jakob Sayuri just ran into the back of him, but Tan Chong just held his ground.
Almost every player that's going down is being accused of an elbow at the moment, and just wonder whether that wears thin. Now, a few words here from Park Hang-seo to Duan Van Hao. Now, the last time in the first leg, after his two-footed incident, as we look back at this foul, wasn't that much, was there?
He just gets in the way and sort of obstructs Jakob Sayuri, but really, again, it's something that happens. You know, it's there was no arm thrown out into the face or anything like that. It's just a bit of physical play.
I just wonder whether they're just looking to try and get these players sent off or carded. Yeah, we were speculating as to whether Duan Van Hal would stay on the pitch and whether Park Hang-seo would get him off in that last game. He stayed on to the very end. Interesting to see what happens in this one.
Well, it does look like Jakob Sayuri has been moved over to the left for Indonesia. Marcelino dropping into central midfield alongside Klock.
Here's Bui Tian-dung. Snowy gets a little touch ahead of Duan Van Hal.
This is such a good battle though down this side of the pitch. Snowy against Duan Van Hal.
Oh, lovely work from Hwan Duk. Still on the ball. Oh, brilliant from him. Here's Quang Hai. Little touch on. Snowy clears it.
They're struggling in possession, Indonesia, at the moment. Not really being able to deal with the intensity of the play.
Lovely work there earlier from Hwan Duk. Here's Fakhruddin. Now Asnawi. They mount at least one more attack before half-time. Being as effective today. Asnawi. Hwan Duk gets there. Two number 14s coming together. Just leaning in there, I think, Jakob Sayuri. Klock is just, again, having a word with his teammate. Perhaps Klopp might want to have a word with himself now.
Yeah. It has been a poor first half for Indonesia. They've not gotten into any sort of rhythm in possession. They're struggling to string passes together and get any real attacks going.
Ho Tan Tai for Vietnam. Tien Lin. Clock goes back. The best of balls out from Nadeo.
That's really good counter-pressing by Vietnam. The moment they lost it, quick switched on, wanting to win it back again, and they forced that long ball forward. Regain possession. Not giving Indonesia any time on the ball, any time in possession. It's this constant pressing, it seems, from the home side.
We've got 3 minutes of added time here. That would be a very interesting half-time talk for both coaches, particularly Shin Tae-yong. Now coming forward, Marcelino Ferdinand. Clock Goes out wide to Pratama Arhan. Asnawi. Yori Amat looking to get that up towards Dendi. Now, will they do one more Pratama? There we go. That's my answer. Well, the last time Indonesia felt there was a handball off Arhan throw. They've got Quang Hai jumping in again. Well, that might be one of the few attempts I think they've had. Fakhruddin.
Yeah. I think they only had one attempt at goal before this one. Difficulty, you know, he's not allowed a clean header at it. A throw-in does find the target. Fakhruddin running onto it. Can't quite get the direction right.
Still about a minute, just under a minute to go in this first half. Offside there for Indonesia. Then he was walking off.
Yeah, and I think there was a bit of confusion there. I think even the home crowd thought there was a whistle for half-time.
No harm done. Quang Hai slipped that through. It's a one-on-one. The flag has gone up though. Quang Hai, for a quick second there, thought he might be through.
That must have been close. Oh, that is really close. I'm not even sure he's offside. When I saw it in real time, I thought, that's got to be close, that's got to be tight. What a lovely pass by Quang Hai into Tuan Hai. Yes, he couldn't find the back of the net, but still.
Yeah. Well, he'll say
he saw the flag
coming in
out
the corner of his eye. Well, this is the one man who has certainly scored, Win Tien Lin. Fair to say that Vietnam will be very happy with that first half.
Yeah, really good performance by the home side, an early goal, good finish by Tien Lin, good run. And then they have controlled this first half very well, limiting Indonesia to, I think, what, just two attempts in that first half. So they will be very happy with how things have gone.
So Win Tien Lin's early goal is what separates the two sides. Half-time score here at the Medan National Stadium in this AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup 2022 semi-final second leg match. It's Vietnam 1, Indonesia 0.
Together, we will better. The AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup 2022. Mitsubishi Electric.
Second half of this AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup 2022 match between Vietnam and Indonesia. About to get underway. It is 1-0 to the home side. Vietnam scoring early on through their striker Win Tien Lin. It has been a bit of a niggly first half. Lots of challenges, a few cards, plenty of words. And both coaches getting in on the action. Some might argue a continuation of that second half in Jakarta. Indonesia have 45 minutes to figure this out. They get a goal, they are through. And of course, as if they can keep a clean sheet. But he's the main man so far.
Yeah, I mean, the player who got the goal very early on for Vietnam helped to set things up for them in this match. In terms of the state of the game, Indonesia then having to come out and try and get their equalizer, try and make their way through, try and structure a few things together. That experiment with Jakob Sayuri hasn't worked out for them. Then saw Marcelino move into central midfield along with Klock, which is what I thought it was going to be when I saw the lineup. But they really struggled to get into any sort of rhythm, Indonesia, in the first half, and that's to Vietnam's credit as well because of how they were playing. Lots of intensity, lots of fire in this side. They were closing down, they were pressing, counter-pressing very aggressively, and when they had the ball, they were showing good quality in possession as well.
There are no changes for either side coming into the second half. There's equal part booing and cheering when Duan van Gaal on the ball, but that's a fantastic one to punt on high. And Jordi Amat puts a block in. It's out for a corner.
Yeah, he's been lively. Pumped on high. Another run in behind that back line. This time, Amat just reads it a little bit earlier than he did for the opening goal. Just drops off into the space, reads the pass. He gets himself into a position where he can put a challenge in.
Corner for Vietnam, and they get the second goal. It is the same man again. Win Chien Lin rises high and makes it 2. Well, they've scored at the start of each half, and it's been Win Chien Lin both times.
Great start to the first half, brilliant start to the second. Indonesia in an absolute mountain to climb now. As Tien Lin once more meeting that delivery. Gotta have a look at the marking by Indonesia at that set piece situation. He's gonna have a lot of work to do now. Lots to think about. Here's another look at that. Let's have a look at Tien Lin. He's completely unmarked. He's allowed the freedom of the penalty area essentially to go on and meet this delivery from Zhou Hong Zung. And I have to say, Zhou Hong Zung has been excellent for Vietnam. Set up the first goal, put in a delivery for the second as well. That's a glancing header from Tien Lin, just redirects it towards the far post. Have a look at those numbers. 22 touches, 2 attempts on target, 2 goals.
Can't ask anything more from a striker. Up the other end, Pratama Aham with a big throw here. Can they get a goal back quickly? Dang Van Lam. Safe pair of hands. Keeps the ball in. Well, now how are they going to respond, Indonesia? A lot to do here, and they've given the ball away almost. He is level now with Tien Lin, with Thirasin Dangda as the tournament top scorer, 5 goals apiece. Rather carelessly given away. Sadil Ramdani, and it's a central midfield just seems to be a problem.
Yeah, but again with Indonesia, they're looking rattled. You know, not the kind of start you want the second half when you're chasing the game, and you want to have a good start yourselves. You can see it from a corner, from a set piece like that. And Vietnam still keeping up that pressure.
Well, they are about to bring on Bui Quang Viet An. He's coming on for another Bui Tien Dung. See what Park Hang-seo has in mind here.
I just think he's playing it safe with Bui Tien Dung already on a yellow card. He's getting another player on there. Don't run the risk of having a player sent off in that back line. Strong challenge from Tan Chung on Dendi. Flashlights are out.
Rather those than laser lights. They feel they already have a foot in the final. The Vietnamese crowd. And of course, whoever wins this will play the winner of Malaysia and Thailand, which will happen tomorrow, the second leg. Malaysia with a slender 1-goal lead.
His teammates aren't too happy with him. He can smile all he wants. Tan Chung. They've got that 2-goal cushion, but they've just put themselves under a little bit of pressure here, or he's put his side under a bit of pressure. Really unnecessary foul to give away. Wrestling Dendi to the ground.
The man who's come on, Bui Hong Viet An, is not too experienced. Not into double figures yet for caps. Plays for Hanoi, though, local boy. Easy one. Far too easy for Dang Van Lam. Disappointing from Clock. Sadil has gone down here. Given away, Tien Lin. Still alive for Vietnam. Do Hun Dung, Quang Hai, his shot is blocked. Scrambling away, and well, Sadil Ramdani got up again, he's hobbling. I just wonder whether they might think of a change anyway. Indonesia. Vietnam come again. Tien Lin. Oh, lovely work. Yaqub Sayuri. Dendi racing forward. He's on his own, really. He's given that away. He was looking for Sadil Ramdani, who's not moving particularly well.
I think just took a bit of contact from Tan Chong. Came across him, won the header cleanly.
Here he is now. Ramdani, Sadil Ramdani. It's a lovely ball in. Snapshot. Goes up for a corner. Dendi. Comes off the new man, Viet An. Sadil Ramdani. Fakhruddin was in there and threatening.
Just seemed to have swapped sides as well. Yaqub Sayuri now has gone to the right. Sadil playing on the left.
Quang Hai. Clock. It's a delightful ball up to Dendi. Could he cross it? Oh, he was in a good position, wasn't he? Yaqub Sayuri.
Well, that's much better from Indonesia. In terms of that pass forward by Clock, it seems like one of his passes has finally found a target up front. Good run from Dendi as well, running across that defensive line.
Sadil Ramdani has supreme confidence in himself to be shooting from there. I'm not sure he's 100% either. Can I ask for an interpretation, perhaps? Park Hang-seo gesturing vigorously. Witan Sulaiman is on for Sadil Ramdani, who's just struggling a little bit. And Ricky Kambuaya will replace Asnawi, it looks like. Well, those are the two players off anyway.
Yeah, interesting one. I think what's going to happen here is Yaqub Sayuri might just move into It's now his position. Witan will just go over onto the left-hand side of that midfield four.
Yep, certainly looks like it's Jakub Sayur will be far more comfortable now. Yoriyama, cool as ice.
Ricky Kambuaya will just occupy a central midfield position.
Almost twice as many attacks from Vietnam as Indonesia going into the opponent's final third. They just haven't really been threatening at all, Indonesia. Marcelino Ferdinand gives it away. Here's Tien Lin. Strong there in the challenge. Here's Klopp, but he gives it away.
What they have now with Ricky Kambuaya in midfield is a player who takes care of the ball pretty well. Is able to hang on to it under pressure. Likes a bit of a dribble. Carry the ball forward through the lines. Ricky Kambuaya. And someone who's definitely more used to playing in central midfield.
Tantai goes forward, looking for Ponton Hai. Given away there by Quang Hai. Here's Quang Hai again. Duan Van Hao launches at Tuan Hai. It's great control. And the shot is straight to Nadeo.
There's been such a threat with his running, with his movement. Tuan Hai. This is a good pass from Tuan Van Hao, but he needs to have that target to hit. And once more, you see that run of Tuan Hai splitting the central defenders, getting in between them. Lovely touch to take it down. That's going to quite get enough power on it to lift it over Nadeo.
Well, they've still got 3 more changes they can make. Indonesia to try and influence things. They've got attackers. They need to bring them on. Still a lot of football to go. More than half an hour, and there's a Pratama Arhan throw here. No one blocking him this time. Actually, that's his least effective throw so far. Trying to break away here. Vietnam, that's excellent from Zo Hun Tung. Flag has stayed down Tien Lin. Oh, it's just behind Quang Hai.
Oh, it needed to be played in front. Keep the momentum of the move going. Klopp's not interested in a handshake with Van Hao. Wrong decision with that pass. Wrong choice. No, Quang Hai was quick enough to take control of it and play it forward.
These two are being told to behave themselves. Van Hao said, well, I was trying to make peace. Klopp wasn't interested.
It's good strong play by Zo Hun Tung again. The midfielders to turn.
Excellent work. Well, they've gone to the edge of the area. Oh, that's not far away at all. We saw him attempt something like this in the previous game. Win Quang Hai. I'm lost for words. It was that good. What a goal. What a goal that could have been.
There we saw this in the first leg against Indonesia, but it was inside the penalty box. This one would have been pretty spectacular. Just the top of the box.
Meanwhile, up the other end, this is more like it from Indonesia. It run into the area from Klok. Jakob Sayuri pushing up here. Indonesia trying to pile the pressure on. Here's Fakhruddin. It's about even on the possession. They are seeing more of the ball. Indonesia. That's delightful from Rizky. Marcelino Ferdinand goes down. And it's a corner for Indonesia. Still a clean sheet for Dang Van Lam. Absolutely brilliant. Fakhruddin, who's been good on these set pieces, always a threat anyway.
Got on the end of that long throw from Arhan towards the end of that first half. It has been so difficult for Indonesia to pick up that movement of Pham Tuan Hai in this match. It's just floating around in that attack.
Yeah, the tournament started with Pham Van Duk, didn't it? As the preferred striker with Tien Lin. But lately it's become Tuan Hai who's been preferred. Will Arhan get there? He should. He's kept it in, he's done really well. Marcelino Ferdinand. Too close to the keeper.
Well, they're finding a bit more space in Indonesia, getting a few more passes to advanced areas of the pitch. That's the angle of that cross from Marcelino. Angle of that delivery wasn't quite right.
Quang Hai, he's done well here. Quang Hai bearing down on the goal.
He's had a good game, Quang Hai. A big improvement from what we've seen from this, from him in the competition so far.
Dendi back to Ricky Kambuaya. Sayuri. Witan Sulaiman, I haven't really seen too much of his involvement yet. Well spotted there by Nadeo.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much of Witan Sulaiman getting involved, and also Ricky Kambuaya. Two of them needing a bit of time perhaps to get into the rhythm of the match.
Crowd now picking up again. Arhan. Marcelino is not going to get that one.
Yeah, Tanchung on the cover behind Hotan Tai.
It's going to be another one of these from Arhan. Certainly been using it quite a bit in this match. I think this is the fourth one now for Arhan. Managed to get it away. Back to Arhan. That's pretty close to the keeper again. hasn't really had a key save to make today, has he?
Dang Van Lam.
Yeah.
He's had such good control of his penalty area. He's been very steady, rock solid for Vietnam in goal. As I said earlier, he's made some big saves in the competition. But he's not been troubled too much in this one.
Something's got the crowd a little bit excited. Witan Sulaiman just hasn't really got involved. Had a small cameo in the first leg. Straight out of play by Nadeo. It's all smiles so far for these fans. Jordi Amat across to Rizquirido. Quang Hai, oh, lovely work again from him. That's what the crowd love to see. Witan Sulaiman creating some pressure, should get a corner. Viet An in action there.
Well, Tian Lin is there. To put that out of play. Just in a bit of trouble as they prepare to make a couple of changes here. Van Duk, one of those players who looks to be coming on.
Well, you think it's probably going to be Tuan Hai, or
well, if Tian Lin isn't able to shake this one off, could be him that's coming off.
he's up and about now. He's on a hat-trick, but there is also the final to think about, of course. Header innocuously over. Changes to be made now. Van Duk and Win Tan Bin. It's a like-for-like change. Win Tan Chung is going off, and look at him. He's been very, very fired up today.
Yeah, he has, but his quality, his own individual quality, has been a little bit disappointing.
And here's going to be Win Tian Lin, the 2-goal hero. He's getting a nice reception as well. Looked a little bit disappointed by that.
Take it off before he could get his hat-trick.
He's got another day to fight, it would appear. There's his second goal. It's a lovely header.
It's allowed so much time and space in the penalty box. There was no one in a black shirt picking him up.
quite going to hold up.
Well, they needed Nadeo to be switched on. And have a good high starting position, be quick off his line, because he'd done well there, from Tuan Hai, to keep himself onside, just bended his run.
There's a new man, Van Dijk. Here's Duan Van Hal. Oh, he didn't seem too confident of that one, did he, Nadeo? Didn't fancy it, perhaps. Risky, I think, just went down there as well.
A big concern being shown by the referee, because it might have been just a clash of heads. Had to come on a long way, Nadeo. Didn't really get anything on it.
Out for another corner.
Something that's gone on off the ball. Van Haal's involved again, and so is Ricky Kambuaya. Has got a yellow card.
This Kambuaya has been booked. What a shocker. And somehow it seems to always gravitate around. Clock is down as well. Remember, he's already on a yellow card, Duan Van Hal. Now the assistant is there as well, just to break up proceedings. Wonder if he's got...
The referee...
Did he just hit?
The referee just hit Risky in the face with his whistle. I need to produce a red card for himself as well. Let's just have a look at what's happening in the area here.
No,
nah,
nothing.
I mean,
but this is bad.
Yeah.
They're targeting him.
Yeah.
I know they're thinking for payback, Russian, but this can't happen.
Yeah, it clocks back up on his feet. Suddenly he's okay.
There is a concerted effort today, isn't there?
And his arms are around his back. Behind his back, sorry. And there was...
I mean, it's not even remotely close, is it?
That's going to try and get him into some trouble.
Well, that would have been fairly spectacular. If he managed to get that one in. Vietnam. Into the book, and I just wonder whether Indonesia have been a bit too consumed by all of this today.
Well, that's what the narrative will be, right? That Vietnam basically got under their
heads,
got into the heads, got under the skin,
yep.
Whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it. Winners get to write the story.
I just wonder if that, some of the comments have been pinned up on boards and trying to get them fired up, and wonder, it's interesting, isn't it, the kind of tactics that are used by coaches to get their players really in the spirit of things. Not that they need much encouragement anyway.
At times you probably have to be careful with making sure they don't get overexcited.
Yeah.
And that's not too much, they're not overly aggressive. Tuan Hai leading the way with his attempts. His movement has been very good.
Noticeable that the only Indonesian is fuckered in right at the bottom there.
And he's come in because of those set piece routines, I should say.
Well, there's 15 minutes to go. Indonesia need 2 goals. They've still got changes they can make.
I look at Vietnam here. I mean, working so hard off the ball. This has been a very different performance from Vietnam that we saw in the first leg. They've been hungry in this one. They're working so hard together without the ball, and with it, as I said, they've shown quality in possession, and they've moved it so quickly as well. Too quick for Indonesia to deal with anyway.
It's given away by Rizky. Again, there's that quick ball Up top, Van Duk though. Gets that into Yoriyama. Surely worth the gamble now to throw on a couple of strikers. Indonesia, they've got precious little time now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can expect some kind of reaction. I mean, you're heading into the closing stages of this match, not too long to go now, and there's really been nothing that they've offered in attack. Indonesia, they haven't really threatened. The only changes that they've made so far, Kambuaya and Witan.
Yeah.
So
they've got 3 other strikers.
yeah, I mean,
4 other strikers.
they've got Spasojevic in there. Nagi Maulana is another option, an attacking option in that sense. Roughly, and Ramadan Sananta.
That'll be a corner. Hey, what do you know?
And there we go.
So they're going to take off 1 defender, so probably 4. There you go, he's just signaled 4. And Spasojevic is going to come on. I think that's Marcelino Ferdinand that's coming off. So they're going to go, it would appear, 4-4-2 now. Roughly was the favoured striker at the start of the tournament. Ilya Spasojevic was certainly not a favoured striker at all last year. He was not selected, and there were some harsh words said by Shin Tae-yeon, but they seem to have patched things up ahead of this tournament. Got about 11 minutes and some added time here. Let's say they're generous, taking about another 15 odd minutes for Indonesia to get these 2 goals, and of course 2 goals would be enough if Vietnam do not score again. Kambuaya, or rather Sayuri, does well. Here's Kambuaya. Now clock. Given away by Witan. Well, they can almost play like a 4-2-4 in a way, Russian. 4 forwards now.
I think there are going to be times where they have to. You know, Dendy's still on the pitch.
Yeah.
Let's push him further forward now. I mean, I don't think it really matters if
No.
you do go on and concede another.
Right.
You just really
They'd lost anyway.
Have got to go for it.
Yep. Well, they've got a few more forwards now to attack this throw, and perhaps that's why they've put in Kwang Hai, who doesn't really bother jumping this time. And it's a corner for Indonesia. Just sails out of play, and maybe perhaps just sums up the kind of day that Indonesia are having, and clock as well, especially.
Yeah, its quality hasn't been there, hasn't been a very good game by a clock, played by clock, and I guess to be fair to him, you could say the same for lots of his teammates. 11 attempts to 7, none of them on target for Indonesia.
There's just yet to be another campaign that falls short for Indonesia. 10th semi-final.
Well, they actually came into this match having lost just once to Vietnam in the history of this competition.
1996, the very first edition. A lot was made as well from the press about Shin Tae-yong's record against Indonesia. This is from the Vietnamese press, of course. Lost 1 and drawn 2. And at youth level, he's also had 4 meetings against Vietnam. And that one win came at youth level against Vietnam, so they really did their homework, the Vietnamese press. And you can bet there's going to be probably some interesting post-match comments as well, given what we had pre-match.
Yeah, what was that Ang Seo was saying about doing the talking on the pitch?
Prove it to me.
Yeah. The clock trying to get Quang Hai back up on his feet.
Quang Hai is staying down for now.
No, this is perfect for Vietnam. I mean, just killing any sort of momentum, taking the sting out of it. Well, there's been too much momentum for Indonesia, or too much rhythm for Indonesia in this match, but coming into the closing stages, just more frustration for the away side.
The only time that Shin Tae-yong has beaten Indonesia is at under 20 level a few months ago. They won 3-2 in the qualifier. Asia under 20 qualifier, and he's going to walk away with yet another defeat. Well, Clock perhaps redeem himself here with a better free kick. Indonesia get a goal and we set ourselves up for a grandstand finish. Kambuaya has gone down. And that is Sayuri being very ambitious.
Yeah, Clock just wanted the ball played out. Back into him on the left. Sayu obviously deciding against it. And Dang Van Lam not having a save to make.
Manduk's not going to get to that one. Shin Tae-yong was hoping beyond hope that could do the business today. He was saying they wanted to finish it in the 90. As soon as Vietnam scored early, it had to finish in the 90. So that was taken out of his hands, but his team have just not shown up tonight. Witan Sulaiman slips it into Sayuri. Clock. He's just given that away.
Hong Tong has just gone down. Bumped into by Jakob Sayuri. There might have been a high knee into the back of Hong Tong.
Doesn't look like the referee's going to take any action.
Let's have a look at this. Yeah, there was. Jakob Sayuri is quite lucky, so he's going to get away with it.
Antoine is going to get a little cameo. Will it be for Quang Hai? That's the cameras are focused on him. He's just looked across there. Quang Hai. Final opportunity for him, perhaps. Quang Hai. Landeo. Did he get a little hand on that? He did. Well, great save.
A good save and an important one. His fingertips still touching around the post.
That's his corner, will be his final contribution.
This is more like the Quang Hai that we know and that we've really enjoyed for the last few years or so. Look at that. Good quality. The ball almost sticks to his left boot.
That's the one to go across the keeper, doesn't he? Well, he'll say, I've been saving and peaking at the right time. To the edge of the area. Fong Duc. Now, Indonesia try to break, give it away. There's frustration all around the Indonesian side. Pratama Arhan, kick out there.
It's a bit of a shame for Indonesia here. You get the sense that they're kind of going out on a bit of a whimper.
Yeah.
You know, with the display that they've put in this evening.
Well, Quang Hai has done by far his best performance of the tournament. And there's also 5 minutes of added time.
Yeah, he's been a lot of fun to watch tonight, Quang Hai.
Just saw I love Park Hang-seo. There you go, big hugs, because they know he's been superb. That is more like it. I think it's the message. there you go.
I think they'll know he's not quite been at his best, but tonight he was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in a huge game. In the context of the game as well, the situation around it, he's really been excellent.
Has his team really?
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, really strong overall display by Vietnam, and kind of a reminder to everyone, if it was needed, of just how good they are.
Yeah, that was that one half where they looked very rattled. The first half of that previous leg. They have come back in leaps and bounds since then. there's a foul by Kambuaya.
And you probably say here as well that it's the two nations who have been able to put out the strongest squads. And Vietnam has just demonstrated that gulf in class. Once again, that difference in quality. And it could be on their way to another clean sheet.
Yeah, that's the incredible thing.
Is that 6 now in a row?
Yes,
6 clean sheets, 6 matches. No goals conceded.
Could they make it all the way through without conceding? There's Van Dijk having a go. Why not? Well, over the years since 1991, Indonesia and Vietnam met 26 times. Indonesia today, this result, if it stays this way, it'll be the 27th time. It'll be 8 wins apiece, 10 draws. But in the AFF as well, Indonesia up till today had that record, didn't they? Which they have now lost. And another fantastic record for Vietnam is that they have never lost to a team from ASEAN here at the Medan Stadium under Park Hang-seo. That is one final attempt for Indonesia, perhaps a consolation goal. Well, if that's 6 attempts, Roshan, I believe that could well be a record.
6 clean sheets.
Yeah, the 6 clean sheets for Vietnam, which is so impressive. And if they can get through an entire tournament, well, even more so. Indonesia's last victory, 2016 over Vietnam, first leg of the semi-finals. Vietnam have been undefeated since then in 5 matches. And that run has ended today. Final few seconds here. We've had the 5 minutes. This will probably be the last bit of action. The referee doesn't even need to see it. Well, there was a lot of pre-match talk about these two countries being on par with each other, coming from Shin Tae-yong. Look at the reaction there from the Vietnamese players, and the result, Roshan, tonight shows there's still some way to go for Indonesia.
Yeah, they were quick. They were eager, I would say, Vietnam, to quash all that talk. And Park Hang-seo himself, you know, they deserve to celebrate. They've been by far the better side this evening. And again, I said they've shown their class, they've shown their quality, and they never really allowed Indonesia a sniff, and never really allowed Indonesia a chance to cause them any sort of issues. And Indonesia themselves will be disappointed with the poor performance that they put in such an important match. But Vietnam were just on it right from the first whistle. Got that early goal, which certainly helped, and then an early goal at the start of the second half as well. But overall, I think, you know, just brilliant. The way, the attitude that they displayed showed the quality in possession and the attitude without the ball to press, to harry, to be aggressive, to work as a team, to shut off the spaces, and to not give Indonesia a chance to breathe in this match. They go away into the final deserved winners.
This is their 12th semi-final and only the 4th time they have progressed to the big event. They've won 2 of them previously. Vietnam through to the finals of the AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup 2022, having beaten Indonesia 2-0 on aggregate. Look at that delight from the Vietnamese players. They have been the far better side over 3/4 of the time, would you say? Fair?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a fair way of putting it. I think Indonesia will look back at that first leg and think the chances that they had to finish off those opportunities, and feel a little bit haunted by that they didn't take enough of those. And they had good clear chances as well. Potentially could have killed the tie off maybe if they'd taken those opportunities. It wasn't to be. Vietnam in the second half of that first leg, I think, played a very good tactical game. They sat back, just forgot about attacking too much, just wanted to protect the spaces in behind the defense. Came away with that clean sheet. At home, they had just had too much power for Indonesia and used the support of their fans to get themselves into another final.
Well, they will have the first leg of the final here, and they will play the winner of tomorrow's second leg semi-final between Thailand and Malaysia. What was a prickly, niggly affair ends in a Vietnam victory.
Tiến Linh hôm nay ghi được 2 bàn thắng trong chiến thắng 2-0 của đội tuyển Việt Nam. Cảm xúc lúc này của Tiến Linh như thế nào?
Cảm xúc hôm nay cũng rất là hạnh phúc khi mà cũng giúp một phần công sức nhỏ của mình để giúp cho chiến thắng của đội. Và ngày hôm nay là đội tuyển Việt Nam đã chứng minh cho mọi người thấy là đội bóng nào mạnh hơn và đội bóng nào xứng đáng hơn để bước vào trận chung kết.
Trước trận đấu này toàn đội có bị áp lực không, và để hướng đến trận chung kết thì Tiến Linh nghĩ thế nào về trận đấu phía trước?
Để tiến vào trận chung kết ngày hôm nay thì đội tuyển Việt Nam đã trải qua những cái khó khăn nhất định khi mà phải di chuyển rất là xa và cũng rất là dài. Và ngày hôm nay thì toàn đội đã chứng minh cho mọi người thấy là tinh thần Việt Nam và chiến thắng này dành tặng cho người hâm mộ.
Dù là trận đấu sắp tới sẽ là Malaysia hay là Thái Lan thì Tiến Linh nghĩ thế nào?
Cho dù đối thủ đã vào trận chung kết thì đối thủ nào đi chăng nữa thì đó không phải việc quá quan trọng. Quan trọng là đội tuyển Việt Nam chơi ra sao và sẽ vận hành nó một cách như thế nào.
Cảm ơn Tiến Linh rất nhiều. Xin chúc mừng. Disappointed result today for Indonesia team. So
Yes.
How do you think about your team performance today?
Oke. Hari ini kita kalah. Menurut kamu performa tim bagaimana?
Oke, hari ini kita kalah, mungkin kita kurang fokus di menit-menit awal aja.
Next.
How do you think about this tournament? It's a good tournament for Indonesia team in AFF Cup 2022.
Turnamen ini bagaimana buat pengalaman kamu?
Bagi saya awal AFF pertama saya juga, semoga ini menjadi pengalaman yang berharga, best experience with us team, and then saya juga merasa kurang puas juga, maaf supporter dan masyarakat Indonesia itu.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.